Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Fright Night Classics. And in this video, we're going to take a look at what I consider to be the greatest anthology film of all time, and that will be from 1963, Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. This is a film I discovered courtesy of WPIX TV's Chiller Theater. Uh, at certain times, they were kind enough to air some pretty cool Euro horror films that I had never seen before. Uh, for example, the film we're talking about today, as well as another Mario Bava film called What, which we know to be The Whip and the Body, Horrors of the Black Museum. So it was really cool at a young age to get some exposure to wonderful films like this on television. As I stated earlier, the film was directed by the great Mario Bava. Uh, Bava is one of my all-time favorite directors. The list of films of his that I really admire are an arm's length's worth. This guy just had a way of wringing out the atmosphere, using bold colors. He had such a great talent and a great way with the cameras. He really is one of my all-time favorites. As I mentioned earlier, Black Sabbath is an anthology film, and anthology films were quite popular in the 1960s. Uh, I'm sure you all know what an anthology movie is. It's a film that has several different stories intertwined in it. And for my money, Black Sabbath is the finest of all of them. The movie is hosted by the legendary one and only Boris Karloff. He is our master of ceremonies, I guess you can say, and he introduces each segment of the movie. And he also happens to star in one of the segments, and we will get to that a little bit later in the discussion. And just for discussion purposes, I want to make it clear that the version of Black Sabbath that I will be talking about is the AIP, the American International Pictures version. I know there are superb versions out there on DVD and Blu-ray where the order of the stories in the movie are different. They're the way they were supposed to be, whereas they were juggled a bit in the American International Pictures version. But I really like the AIP version. I like the order that they're in. It's the order that I'm used to. And in the remastered versions, Boris Karloff's voice is dubbed in Italian, and personally, I'd rather hear Boris's own voice, which is just one of the reasons why I prefer the AIP version, and which is the one we'll be talking about. The first story in the film is called A Drop of Water, and it basically concerns a nurse who, while dressing a medium who has died during a seance, robs a ring off the corpse's finger, and as time goes on, soon lives to regret it. This, to me, is one of the single most spooky moments I've ever experienced in a film. Uh, the appearance of the corpse is grotesque. It is frightening. It's just got a weird, nightmare-like vibe to it, and the nurse, prior to seeing the appearance of this corpse, is terrorized by a fly she can't seem to kill, water dropping from various faucets in her house, and then lo and behold, she finally comes face to face with the corpse whose ring she robbed, and it really is a spine-tingling moment. The question you may ask yourself is the corpse real? Is this a figment of her imagination? that's up to you to decide. But to this day, the drop of water segment from Black Sabbath remains one of the more frightening moments that I've experienced in film. The second segment of the movie is generally regarded as the weakest of the three, and that is the case. It's entitled The Telephone. Now, although it is the weakest of the three stories, it's not without merit. In looking back at the film in retrospect, I often think of it as a quote unquote breather for the viewer, allowing them to come down a little from what they just experienced in watching the drop of water segment, and also as a good setup for the third and final segment, which we'll get to. But basically, The Telephone is a story of a woman who is receiving mysterious and threatening phone calls, and all is not what it seems to be. Um, Even though it is the weakest segment, from what I have read, it's kind of an historical segment in that, although it's not the first Italian giallo to be filmed in Italy, I believe it is the first giallo type segment to be done in color. It does have flashes of eroticism, violent outbursts that the Italian giallo novels are known for, and it does take place in pretty much one confined area, with the exception of a couple of scenes. It's a kind of theatrical feeling type story, and as I said, it is the weakest, but it certainly is not without merit. The third and final segment of the film is called The Wordalak. And basically, the Wordalak is the Russian version of a vampire who has to drain the blood of loved ones so that he can survive and that they too can be Wordalaks. This is the segment that stars Boris Karloff as the head Wordalak, and Karloff gives a fantastic performance here, one of his best in my opinion. He is totally menacing, totally creepy, and every time he's on screen, there is just this feeling of dread and foreboding that the viewer can't help but to feel. In addition to its creepiness, this segment is just a joy to behold. I've talked to friends about it, and Bava really pumps up the atmosphere in this segment. The wind howls. It makes you feel like in order to watch this segment, you need to go grab a blanket because you could feel that wind and that crisp air. It's just chock full of atmosphere. The colors, the settings. It really is a wholly enveloping experience, and definitely an unsettling one for the viewer. I don't want to make the segment sound like it's nothing but eye candy. It's much more than that. I mean, while it is a joy to look at, and while it is very kind of surreal and dreamlike to watch, the story is very good. It's very creepy. Good performances all around, and just a great segment to cap off a really great film. So what it all boils down to is, flat out, this is just a terrific movie. If you are a horror movie fan and you haven't seen it, you really must. It is entertaining, it is spooky, it is dreamlike, it is suspenseful. I can't recommend it more highly than I do. You have your choice of what you want to watch. As I mentioned earlier, there are DVDs and Blu-ray out with the film as it was originally presented to audiences, with the stories in a different order. Or if you can possibly find the American International Pictures version, you might enjoy that one like I do. But either way, this is a film that is highly recommended, and I don't think you can go wrong with it. And again, in my opinion, it is the best of the 1960s anthology films. Okay, that'll wrap it up. I want to thank you for watching and listening for this edition of Fright Night Classics. Keep an eye out as we go down the road for more reviews. Again, we appreciate your input and your feedback, and we look forward to doing more of these for you. So thanks again, and have yourselves a great day.